Alright guys, so in this video we're going to talk about default props and prop types, which allow us to basically have type checking on our properties. So let's start off with default props. Now, a good candidate to use a default property would be in our header, because we may want this to display something even if there's nothing passed in. So in our app.js, if we don't pass in something here, we probably want something to show up. So what we could do is go down here under the const of header, where we created our function, and we could take the name of the function, which is header, and say dot default props, and set that equal to an object, and we can say branding, because that's the property we want to set, and then we'll set that to whatever we want. So let's just say my app. Okay, now if I save this, we're still going to see contact manager because that's what we passed in here. But if I were to remove this entire property here being passed in and save, now it's my app because that's the default. But anything we pass in is obviously going to override that. Okay, so that is default props, pretty simple. And then for prop types, we want to just kind of validate the data that's coming in. So this is a string, so what we can do is bring in something called prop types. So we can say import prop types, and that's going to be from prop-types. Okay, so that's how we bring this in. Now, with the plugin or the extension we're using for VS Code, we can actually do impt tab, and that brings it in for us. I like to use semicolons. It doesn't add it on its own, so you have to put it there. But since I'm using Prettier, even if I save without it, it automatically puts it there. So we have to bring in prop types from prop-types, and then we'll go down here and we'll say header dot lowercase p prop types equals an object, and then let's put in branding, and we basically just want to validate this. So we want to take the prop types object, and we want to say it's a string because that's what it is, so string, and we want to say it is required, so dot is required. So if we save that, we're not going to see any difference here, but now we have a prop type. And if we were to, let's say, open up our console here, and let's change string to something else, so we'll say like object, and save, we're going to get a warning down here that says failed prop type, invalid prop branding of type string supplied to header, expected an object. Okay, so it expected an object because that's what we put here, but it got a string, so we get this warning. Okay, and that's pretty much the extent of what's going to happen here if we have a wrong prop type. Like, it's not going to stop working or anything, but it's a good way to check your validation. So let's put this back to string and save, and then that will go away. So now let's do the contact component prop types. So we'll go up here, we'll say impt tab, and then we'll go down here and let's say contact dot prop types, and we have 3 different properties. So let's do name prop types dot, and it's a string, and it is required. Okay, and then I'll just copy this down 2 more times, and whoops, didn't mean to do that. Let's change this one here to email. Oops, what happened here with the comma? And then this one will be phone. Okay, and we'll save that, and everything should be good. If I were to change this to like bool, save, we're going to get a warning saying that it expects a boolean, but we got a string. So just wanted to check that out, make sure prop types are working. Now, another way that you could do this, you don't have to actually do it outside of the class if you don't want to. What we could do is, let's copy everything. Let's copy this whole object right here, and then just comment this out for a second. And what we could do is go in here and we could say right above the render, static prop types equals, and then paste that in and save. And just to make sure this works, let's change one of these to make it the wrong type. And you can see we get the same error. So you can put it within your class if you want. I just always put it outside. You just take the class name and do .PropTypes. And if you have default props, you can do the same thing. You can either do contact.defaultProps, or you could do static default props and assign them inside the class. So it's up to you on how you want to do that, but I always do it this way. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save that. All right, so that's going to do it for this video, guys. In the next video, I want to talk a little bit about styling and adding CSS just to kind of make this look a little better. Ultimately, we're going to use Bootstrap. We're going to add that in the video after that, but I do want to show you how to do some inline styling, also how to add your own style sheet for each component if that's what you want to do. So we'll get into that in the next video.